Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. The mother of all Western Division matchups on the way. Alliance taking on Na'Vi. Now, the West has still got a lot of play to go ahead of us this next week. We will be winding it up just about 8 days from now. But for the moment, this is where all eyes should be, because Alliance in this match is playing for their chance to direct qualify to Las Vegas. A win will give them a perfect series. Na'Vi, though, as we saw just yesterday, can on occasion upset this Alliance squad. And tell you the truth, you can't even call it an upset. These two teams go back and forth, seem to meet each other almost every week, if not more often, either in group stages and certainly in a lot of grand finals. Let's take a look at how the two match up. Alliance and Na'Vi both needing no real introduction, but perhaps for the uninitiated, we'll run through the lineup. 6-0. Alliance has tallied a perfect record so far, 12 points obviously with those 6 wins. They're led by Loda on the hard carry position with Admiral Bulldog, arguably the best offlaner on the planet. And S4 setting up shop in mid with Ake, the phenomenal support jungle player who we saw him in action on Chen back in the Dream League just a few moments ago. That match against Virtus Pro concluding with an Alliance win as well. And EGM, of course, on the hard support. Big test for the defending International 2013 champions here now, though. Once again, they meet with Na'Vi. Last time these two teams met was just yesterday, and Na'Vi got the best of that matchup. They're going to look to repeat that success. They're only 2-1, so they still have a lot of Dota to play. Now, this match matters a lot to them because, let's be honest, they're going to be favored in every single other match they play throughout our Western Division. If they get a win here, they're going to be in a position where they might be able to challenge Alliance for that first seed. However, very important, if that's going to be the case, and this is kind of a secondary storyline to talk about, Alliance having not dropped a game, if Alliance does manage to take a game off of Na'Vi, they are basically assured first place no matter what, because our points is the primary tiebreaker. And with Na'Vi already dropping one series and not getting a win there, and you can see right beside the win-loss total, the fact that they have 4 points, yet one loss, means they were 0-2'd. So if Alliance manages to win just one game, even though Na'Vi would have the head-to-head matchup, the points tiebreaker is our primary tiebreaker before going to head-to-head. So it's important not just for Na'Vi to get a win today. They have to secure a 2-0 to punch their own ticket, or have a chance, I should say, to punch their own ticket to Vegas. It would still require them to win out, which is a test in itself in this field. They're led by Puppy on the support jungle with a Host on hard carry. Dinde, of course, arguably the most popular player on the planet. He's in mid. Funnick in the offlane, and Kuroki on the hard support. So we're going to be moving ahead to our match now. Na'Vi and Alliance, the draft already underway. We'll be jumping in just a few moments. I'll be joined by Ben Merlini Wu as always. I'm AC, and we'll see you in the draft. Hang with us, guys, here on the HyperX D2L. We'll be right back. And we're all set, locked and loaded. Na'Vi versus Alliance here in our group stage of the HyperX D2L, the match everyone has been anticipating throughout the group stage, and things playing out just about how you would expect. Alliance, who played all of their matches out in week 1, this is their final match, matching up against Na'Vi. If they win, they finish perfect and go straight to Vegas coming up in January. Na'Vi, though, they have a chance to steal that 1 seed from them if and only if they not only beat Alliance, but they have to do it 2-0. Otherwise, Alliance will still be our direct number 1 seed straight to Vegas no matter what Na'Vi does after this point. The reason for that, Na'Vi having already lost 1 series, but they lost 0-2. So to force themselves into a position where the head-to-head matchup would be the primary tiebreaker, they have to blank them, have to hang a goose egg on them. They lead off with a Visage and Lich pick. Gonna have Alliance grabbing up Venomancer and Enchantress. And look, it's Team Blue versus Team Green. To break it down, maybe a little bit more complicated than that. And I'm sure our co-commentator will be able to tell you why. Welcome in once again, Ben Merlini-Wu. And Ben, this is the match, not just everyone else, but certainly us as casters. Everyone wants to see this, especially after the International 2013. Na'Vi and Alliance, don't think there's a whole lot of argument. The best teams in the West squaring off, and they've got a lot on the line on both sides.
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very exciting matchup. Team Blue versus Team Green. Let's just keep it sweet and simple.
So we see Na'Vi snagging out the Lich. Now, the last time we saw Na'Vi in action, they did run Lich on Funnick quite frequently. In fact, we saw a very nice matchup of, I want to say it was Lich versus Weaver, perhaps? It was Lich versus someone. It was a solo safe lane Lich. And
Darkseer.
That's who it was, the Darkseer. Lich versus Darkseer, solo safe lane. And it is amazing just how far ahead a Lich can get off of Sacrifice. Now, making use of that advantage, certainly a challenge, but with the Visage pickup, a hero who can really come to fights early on, and we obviously know what his mid-game potential can be. Na'Vi going to look to get a little bit more out of Lich this time than they did last time. Venomancer and Enchantress, two heroes that tend to be very active, can give you a lot of push and counter push.
Yeah, it's not only that Lich gets so far ahead, it's that the other hero just gets so far behind. And that particular game was just a super underfarmed Darkseer, and he usually has his mech up pretty darn quickly, even against a dual lane, but not with that Lich. And that's the thing about Na'Vi. They tend to run just unusual stuff now and then. We saw them win with a Medusa yesterday. We don't see solo safe lane Lich very often, or often at all. I think that's probably the first time I've actually seen it in competitive. It's been seen like support and dual mid, and Na'Vi has a slight edge in this matchup, but I mean, it's pretty much just a coin flip.
I really like the pickup of Enchantress here. Obviously, Ake has a phenomenal Chin in and of himself, but now by picking the Enchantress instead of the Chin, that forces Na'Vi to perhaps forego the Chin, and Chin hasn't been banned yet. Doubt it will be. Na'Vi might still decide to pick it, and wow, we're going to see a Dindy Mag. Well, granted, we think we're going to see a Dindy Mag, and we'll touch on that here in a minute. But yeah, the Enchantress early pick there gives you essentially, well, you don't want to say essentially the same skill set. It is very different when a Chin gives you from an Enchantress, but some of the strengths do overlap, namely her ability to gank early, the movement potential she has, the ability to put pressures on towers to dive effectively even at very early levels, levels 1 through 3. Very easy to put pressure on mid or to just help your mid out with an enchanted creep. But yeah, Na'Vi not going to want to necessarily draft a Chin into that because Enchantress can just steal the creep via enchant. And Elder Titan makes it all the way through to this point. Finally rounds out the front 3 for Alliance. But let's talk about that Mag pick. Dindy on Mag, it's feast or famine. We've seen Dindy play well. We've seen him play not so well.
Yeah, it's I mean, it kind of denies S4 too, which is, I mean, not the best deny, but he does have a pretty amazing mag. X4 does. Dendy's is questionable, I think. I've seen him play mag quite a few times, and he sometimes has big RPs, but in like really clutch situations, sometimes he doesn't pull through like he really does on some of the other heroes. So we'll see how Dendy faces up in that matchup. I remember last time I watched Dendy play, he played against a mag, and he was Rubik, and he just got obliterated. And I don't know, sometimes it's just hit or miss. S4 is a more consistent mid, I say. He tends to be somewhat of a safer player, but both teams often have their supports rotating in for them and going with Admiral Kunkka. So this is something that I saw run yesterday, I believe, or maybe earlier today. I think Alliance actually picked this duo.
Yeah, it's we've seen some really phenomenal and standout Kunkka play here in the D2L, especially coming out of the East. Number of teams able to run the hero to Very strong effectiveness. I love what they're doing with their lineup here. Obviously, Lich and Magnus have a lot of overlap and how they're going to be able to chain their abilities together, namely one good reverse polarity with a Chain Frost afterwards. Kunkka, though, being able to throw the ship on top of that while still buffing his team with Kunkka's Rum, big deal there as well. And single target initiation. And we saw that in play very heavily in the East. LGD versus a DK, just how valuable a Kunkka can be, and forcing a team to fight you when they don't want to, even if they're trying to avoid you, trying to not take fights. If you can track down just one hero, bring them back with X, then their team has to commit or just face a 4 versus 5 when you begin to pressure towers immediately afterwards. Alliance going to go ahead and add some AoE to their lineup with Gyrocopter. Very AoE-centric team so far with Venomancers, Poison Nova, Elder Titan, of course, with Earth Splitter, but more importantly, the Natural Order, and Gyrocopter with the mass amount of magic burst that comes from Rocket Barrage combined with the late game Flak Cannon and call down at all phases of the game. And I think we're going to see a lot of fights, a lot of AoE, a lot of chain of initiation on both sides.
Yeah, it looks like Navi's way more ulti dependent though. Chain Frost, very long cooldown level 1. It's what? 145 seconds, so that is just extremely long. RP, 2-minute cooldown level 1. Kunkka is the only one who doesn't really have that long of an ultimate cooldown at 60 seconds. But on the flip side, we see Alliance. Venomancer doesn't really need his ultimate. Enchantress, Impetus, it's an orb effect. Elder Titan doesn't really rely on his ultimate either, and Gyrocopter cooldown very low. So if we see like a very fast and furious early game, which often is the case between these two teams, I think Na'Vi may just be trying to stall into their ultimate slot, and Alliance trying to force the issue, force them to fight without RP up.
Yeah, I think that you're dead on the mark here. I mean, when you look at Alliance's lineup is going to excel at not just taking towers early. There's a Mirana pick coming up from Na'Vi. We'll touch on that here in a minute.
Team Blue.
Yeah, it is. I was just going to say that too. It is all Team Blue completed for Na'Vi. But Alliance's squad is actually going to be quite good at not just taking towers, but if they decide to try and crack tier 3s early, perhaps off of a Roshan, they're going to have some success there. Elder Titan is very good at that. Enchantress with her creeps, Venomancer with the slow Plague Ward push, and Gyrocopter being able to throw a call down uphill to try and zone people off the tower. That's something they can do. Looking at what else they're going to need here, I feel like they do need a little bit more direct damage. Weaver has been banned out by Alliance themselves.
They need someone who can like control fights.
Yep, there you go.
Because like they don't really have any initiation. Like Elder Titan, yeah, you can move your spirit around and Veno can get a Gale off, but that's unreliable at all compared to like an X, an Arrow, a Blink RP, even a Blink Skewer is just much more reliable from Na'Vi. And I think Puck's a fantastic choice. I'm surprised that they didn't ban out Puck over Batrider, but or ban both of them out, because S4 is really a beast on both of those heroes.
Absolutely, and you know, the Waning Rift is going to be an absolutely huge. Is going to be an absolutely huge ability one way or the other, especially if he can manage to find his way on top of Mag and just silence out the RP long enough to burst the hero down. And like you said, I mean, they do have a lot of AoE on both sides. I feel like Na'Vi is very much, like you said, a slave to their cooldowns. That's helped out by Kunkka, who will actually be played by Funnick. It's going to be Lich in the pure support role played by Puppey this time around.
10 seconds remaining.
They're going to have Kunkka's Ghost Ship off cooldown very, very frequently. So they're going to be able to take fights, and this is just going to be a pure haymaker for haymaker game if I had to guess based on the lineups.
Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting game. Alliance has actually played a lot of games today. They played 5 games, I believe, 3 versus Roxkiss, 1 versus EG, and 1 versus VP. So they must be worn and weary by now.
And looks like I'm going to go ahead and reset my Dota TV real quickly because apparently we're not coming through. Sorry about that, guys. And yep, there we are.
Oh, yep, there we go.
Yep, all squared away. So sorry about that, guys. Missed my half of the draft analysis in game 1, but don't worry. I'm sure you caught the valuable part, of course, Merlini's insight and analysis.
Mine was off too.
Oh, it was? Oh, good. So they sat in silence. Excellent. Sorry about that. We had a Dota restart right before this match, so I'm going to guess it defaulted back, and that's why you always double-check your options, no matter how often they are on by default. But Nahaz Dota will be lending us his stat skills, so there you go, grudge match, and I think that says it all. The lanes are going to take shape without a lot of action on either side, so we'll take a look at our lineups, having S4 on our Shakespearean hero on the Puck, setting up shop, and we're going to have Ake, as anticipated, running on our Enchantress. The Gyrocopter will be played by Loda. He's down in the safe lane. We're going to have EGM playing on our Elder Titan with the Venomancer handled by Admiral Bulldog. Now, this is something you don't see all that often. Bulldog does have a certain set of heroes he tends to prioritize over all others. This time, though, he's going to be playing on the support Veno.
Yeah, we don't see him play it that often.
Puppy going to be on the Lich on the other side of the river with Mirana, farmed up by Havost, and we'll talk about that a bit. Dindy will be taking the Admiral Kunkka mid. Visage going to be played by Kuro, and the Mag going to be handled by Funix. So opting to go ahead and give Dindy a hero he's much more comfortable on. We've seen him play Kunkka very effectively in the past. Is going to be a sacrifice of level game from Funix, but so long as he can come out of this lane getting a decent amount of farm, he should be quite happy. And as good as Elder Titan can be, he's going to get his levels as well, but Funix shouldn't really be shut down unless we see a lot of early rotation from Alliance.
And yeah, Funix on the Mag too. Dendi, Kunkka mid is like okay, but I guess if they have a Lich there babysitting him, then it's going to make S4's life pretty darn difficult in mid. But S4 seems to be doing fairly well in terms of CS, but he is getting harassed very heavily. I haven't actually seen Dendi play Kunkka yet.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times before. He's very good at the hero. And, it's not his, the traditional heroes you see him go crazy on, not the huge playmakers, huge mobility like Storm Spirit, like even a Puck, for example. But it is a very aggressive hero, and as we know, Dindy thrives in those situations. Certainly going to be benefiting a lot from having Puppy here. Of course, rune control should be a much easier matter because of that. Being able to deny the creeps is going to have its own effect. We haven't seen it quite yet as we're just 90 seconds in, but make no mistake, that will start to pile up, that amount of lost experience. And, of course, the XP, bonus XP going to Puppy. We're going to see Ake come over. They're going to catch out Dindy with the net. Stomps there, and first blood, just like that, goes the way of Alliance. So S4 not struggling too much thanks to our lovely little hippie lady Enchantress getting the job done.
Yeah, good movement by Aki there, and that's one very big weakness on Kunkka. He can't really do anything if he gets ganked, and he's still like under a lot of pressure, just getting netted out and harassed constantly. And S4 is not suffering at all.
Yeah, S4 coming up on level 4 now. Dindy after that death is actually more than a full level behind, so a huge win. And easy to underestimate just how much one death early on can make a huge difference. The rest of the lanes have been very, very quiet thus far and are likely to remain so. The question is going to be, where does Ake go? And this is how Enchantress tends to find her success no matter what. More active you are with her early, the more your mileage you're going to get out of her in the mid-game as well. This is just much more of a hero that wants to be moving early as opposed to just trying to farm the jungle, even more so than a Chen, who tends to want an early set of arc boots and an early mech.
And Puppy just being annoying on bottoms, trying to steal some experience with the invisibility rune. And Na'Vi, they have a slightly better team fight with the RP and the boat, so even if they get behind in the early game, it's not terrible for them. But they really, I think they counted on winning their lanes, especially with the dual lane in mid. But Aki just on top too, constantly harassing Kuroki and Funix, or Kuroki and Havost rather.
Just heard an arrow, and locking down the Wildkin. They will jump on it, and even Grave Chill. And Aki's there, has a point in the nature. He denied it. So I was going to say he has a point in the nature's attendance if he wanted to try to heal it, but not going to be the case. Instead of just robbing them of some gold.
And just a pretty passive early game, except from Aki. I'm just constantly watching him. Already has boots and a magic stick. Looks like they have blocked this spawn, or it hasn't been up for quite some time.
Well, it looks like this actually is Dindy's first pro appearance. Must have confused him with someone. I'm trying to think who else it was. I was almost positive I had seen him play back in like D2L Season 2. Anyway, Ake gonna be hit with Grave Chill. There's the arrow shot a bit wide. EGM using the Astral Spirit to zone him out. He's going to eat a bit of damage here. And, wow, the Frost Blast from Puppy's rotation gets one kill. They might be able to make it two. He's going to be picked off. One last auto attack, and Na'Vi gets two on the board in a hurry. Make it 2-1.
Yeah, Puppy this support rotation is just so crucial and important from both teams. Funny gets an illusion rune, tries to harass Admiral Bulldog, and I mean, we see Kuroki and Aki and Puppy just be very active in early game. But Admiral Bulldog, we haven't seen on support, so I don't actually know why they're doing this. And he's just very, very passive. And that's one thing, when you don't play with support very often, you're not confident in your movement at all in the early game. And if you don't have both supports roaming and the opponents do, you're going to suffer in the early game.
And talking about early game, Loda really is the big winner from the status quo so far. He's sitting at 33 CS and 10 denies out of this bottom lane. We see they did, of course, rotate Funix down. He's going to continue to suck up XP. going to get to level 4.5 after that wave was shoved up under the tower. Kunkka is continuing to struggle a bit here in mid. He's by himself now, so Denny taking a bit of harass. The torrent will be a little bit wide and continuing to absorb a lot of damage. Ake making his way back up towards mid. Here comes Puppy back to mid as well.
Yep, he's going to build that Xiao 8 went yesterday on his Kunkka when he played versus DK. Just the 1-2-2 build. The early X torrent initiation is pretty good.
Ake might end up dead here. There's the X. Torrent will be on the mark, and one last Tidebringer. This ward right here paying for itself at that moment. Ake was just kind of chilling out and skewered back up towards enemy territory, so tallying their early kills 3-1.
Havos, I'm curious to see what build he's going to go. If he's just going to go a Midas build. Oh, I actually picked up a Blades of Attack, so we'll probably see an early fighting build from him. I don't think anyone in this game is going to go Midas except for Gyrocopter, who already has it up. A load of free farming on bottom, 40 CS on him, double anyone else's in the game right now.
Oh yeah, he's been left completely alone, as you said. Midas not only up, it has been used once by 6 minutes in, and he's going to use it again right there. So Loda off to a great start. Already has up Brown Boots and a Bassy to go along with it. Funnick, though, coming up on level 6. He's just short of 5.5. More movement on both sides. Puppy has been very active on this Lich, and I really, really like it. I mean, basically, he's been a part of all three of Navi's kills so far. He's going to move back up with this Invis Rune. Taking Rune Control, certainly a big deal in its own right. EGM, 5.5. They're going to jump in. There's the Grave Chill, Sacred Arrow, and another death. Alliance falling behind early. Loda certainly getting his farm, but without a doubt, Na'Vi winning the movement wars.
And yeah, Funnick's farming away in bottom too. He's still very, very poor. Forced to get a bottle early just to stay in the lane. He needs Arcane Blink as soon as possible, or even just a straight Blink Dagger rush. I've seen some Magnuses get treads too if they're falling behind. There's a Moonlight Shadow.
Dindy is rotated down the bottom, TPing in. Mag just short of level 6. It's a tough call. Would have really liked RP.
If they would blow like everything on Loda, then maybe.
Here we go. There's X marks the spawn. Shockwave. And, he missed it. And Dindy going to be caught with the Gale afterwards. Here comes Funnick. He's going to have another Shockwave to contribute. Looks like Loda doesn't want to overcommit, though. EGM going to continue to chase him down. He is slowed down, getting hit with the Poison Sting. And Dindy will be picked off as a reprisal kill. 1-1-2 build for Bulldog, paying for itself there. And Funnick forced to pull back. In the meantime, S4 and Ake going to go ahead and put some pressure on mid as well.
Yeah, I think he just forgot to cast the X beforehand. He casted it after Torrent, and definitely can't do that unless you're coming in from the fog, which they saw him. So the Gyrocopter just ran away, dodged a Torrent, and that was that. I think that Funnick was expecting an X Torrent into Shockwave plus Skewer plus Kunkka Cleave. I don't actually know if that would have been enough damage. It would have been pretty darn close. Actually, he only has 758 HP.
Big problem now, though, is Loda's already got up his Phase Boots. Phase Midas passing at 8 minutes and pressuring the tower completely uninhibited. This time, Rune Control going to go to S4, and since it's a DD, don't be surprised if we see him try to make something happen as EGM is showing his face over in mid as well. Has been spotted out, though, as he did come within range of the ward. And here's going to be a Torrent. Will connect, but no help there yet. Puppy slowly making his way down.
Yeah. And looks like Alliance wants to pressure this tower on bottom. We see a very slow rotation from Funnick coming in. Do they have Glyph up? Yes, they do. But Loda's just firing away. I don't really think they can kill him, even if someone TP's in, unless he hits a really good skewer.
And we see Puppy snagging a creep out of mid. Don't know that he wants to do a whole lot more than that. Slowly working on his mech. He's already got the buckler essentially done. And just needs to have it dropped off. So making progress there. EGM going to catch a Grave Chill. And now we're going to have the DD after the coil on Dindy and mid. Torrent will disjoint it. The Centaur caught out. Here's a Chain Frost. And the jump from S4 gets him out of trouble. Ake should be able to pull back as well. S4 in the meantime trying to retreat and will be able to do so. So very nicely timed. Wow, Havost actually manages to get himself a kill at top. And yeah. Very nice pickup, being able to hold down the Elder Titan and all worthwhile.
Yeah, that was still a good jump by S4, though. Like, the chain actually bounced up to Aki, but if it were bouncing between these creeps, he would have just definitely died there. And it was a little bit risky going behind that tower, but not a big deal for him. Dendi needs to catch up and farm, though. He's just sitting on brown boots, a stout shield, and a magic stick with only 500 gold to his name. It doesn't really seem like a Dendi type of hero. He's more like the snowball type player on like Puck or Quap or something like that. And Kunkka's just like more of a wait for someone else to initiate. I think Dendi's usually the one that goes in first.
S4 going to spot himself a haste room and giving it the longing look at the moment. Looks like is his bottle. Yep, his bottle's back on the courier. So they're going to continue to guard it. Bulldog still in lane. Loda still continuing to farm. Loda at 67 CS, 10 minutes in. Very, very solid start for him. And he's actually going to go a straight up Helm the Dominator.
Yeah, if he gets BKB, he can still die with the RP Torrent boat combo. So BKB it's like okay. So I think that's why Na'Vi is okay with him farming. They're like, well, we have anti-BKB in our team fight, and it looks like Load is just going to go for a super farm build with the HRD, which I think is the right choice here because they don't necessarily have to take fights early. I think they can win the late game out if Gyrocopter is super farmed. He just needs like probably like Butterfly plus one more item if they really want to fight late game. And when Kunkka's just under farmed, and then when they have the carry as a Potom, and he doesn't have a Midas either, he just has Wraithband Phase and Ring of Basilius in a bottle right now, then they're not feeling that much pressure.
Right.
Alliance is not.
Taking a look and just trying to glean what we can from skill builds across, we can see that EGM's Elder Titan has actually maxed his Astral Spirit ahead of Natural Order. And I think that should indicate to us that Alliance is planning to have to defend and let Loda farm for a while. I don't think they're going to necessarily want him to come to fights very early on. Up at top, we're going to have a courier pick off, and now Havost in trouble. Can they get the return kill? Havost will be able to get Ake.
They didn't even get the kill on Havost.
11
he pieced out
HP.
a little bit too early. No, he's coming back around with a haste, but he's just TPing out.
And big misstep for Alliance. Huge missed opportunity. Should have at least gone 1-for-1 there. One more auto attack would have been enough. He had the haste room bottle too. The Visage Familiars stomp into the ground, but unable to stop them. In the meantime, Loda continues to farm up on bottom. The Helm of the Dominator done. He's got 800 gold aside. And Bulldog has basically done nothing but babysit this Gyrocopter and take advantage of any movement from Na'Vi. So it's a counter push kind of an approach. Funnick, though, will end an RP on Loda. And he's going to skewer him back. Loda will end up dead that time.
That's one problem with the build that he's going right now. Just absolutely like 0 HP. And even if he has a magic one, that would help him a little bit. Some people like to get power treads just for that little bit of wiggle room. That was like a 3-on-1 situation, but they just pretty much stared at him while he died because they can't save him. We see the first ancient stat coming out already. And he doesn't actually have any creeps himself, which I'm slightly surprised. Some people just use one simple range creep to do it, which is pretty effective because if you HOD a creep in the jungle, you're not always guaranteed to get a range creep.
And EGM train blows with Dindy. Dindy did bottle up a double damage. What I was saying about EGM, the fact that he maxed Astral Spirit tells me they're going to be relying on him not just for the natural order bonuses, which is nice, but more than anything, for a little bit of damage early on. They want Loda to stay stationary. They want him to just make use of that very early Midas, make use of the farming build he's employing with the Helm of the Dominator, and they're going to try to hold the line against Na'Vi while he does his thing.
Yep, third stat comes up, and yeah, Admiral Bulldog with his level 3 Venom wards too. It looks like Alliance is just looking to defend and let Gyrocopter and Loda we trust. They do have pretty good anti-push though. Puck with his Illusory Orb, Elder Titan with his Spirit. That should be enough to clear waves, and then combine that with Venom wards. They should have no problem, at least not losing their T2s, unless they lose a huge fight. And Funnick is fairly close to Blink considering the situation that he was put in early. 1-0-1 on him. Arcane Boots bottle and 800 gold to boot.
Havost we've seen be pretty active. He's moved around a bit, hit an arrow or two, and gotten a kill or two. We can see he's a kill or two, actually make it 3. He's 3-0 right now, so a very nice start for him. He is going with a Yasha build right out the gate, so Manta style going to be what he wants to pick up. No Midas, as you mentioned, and that's kind of the question mark for me.
S4 on top. Do they have a ward up there? Man, that's a very risky position for him to be in with only one person by his side.
Hanging around for the moment. EGM's there with him. He will go ahead and jaunt down to safety. Here comes the rest of his team. Ake spotting out this haste room. Let's see if they want to make something work. 2 Centaurs and a Hellbear Smasher. Very strong.
Do they have any detection? They need detection versus a Mirana. They only have one set of sentries on Veno.
There's the mag, and the Waning Rift gets him. Can they catch him? Nice. The enchant's there. Do they have the detection? Sentry goes down, and they do get him. Earth Splitter's going to be there. Will whiff, but they don't need anything else. Immediate buyback from Funnick, and that's going to be The white flag for Alliance, knowing they don't want to deal with. They might get Bulldog anyway. And nope, not followed up. Thought they might try to chase him down. Arrow will shoot wide of EGM. EGM heading out. There's going to be an X on the Ake. Here comes the boat that will connect. No, actually shot it wide. Now they're shooting uphill. There's the Poison Nova. Chain Frost goes off. We'll get a couple of decent bounces.
Dendy's going to die too in the back.
And we're going to see the skewer on one. In the meantime, just heard an RP on a single target. They're trying to bring Ake down, but can they burst through? They can. The Nature's Attendant's not enough to keep him alive. 2 for 1 the exchange, but S4 with a double kill there. And now Kuro drops. Alliance with Lotus showing up to help out. He actually didn't do a whole lot. Got there in time to walk over top of the bodies. They should be able to get some damage done to the tier 1 mid off of it, though. Might be able to bring it down.
That was pretty much just a 45 from Alliance, and Na'Vi just totally bombed their ultimates.
Yep.
Magnus with a 1-man RP on Aki, and then Dendi with a missed X-Torrent ship on Aki too. So they just have to coordinate their spells a little bit better, and that sets Magnus back on his blink a hell of a lot. He had 800 gold, now he's sitting at 43. He picked up a magic one, but dying back, and then dying again, that is just one of the worst possible scenarios for Na'Vi right now. On the plus side, they didn't lose their tower on top, but that's a very small constellation for how poor that fight went for them.
Yep, they did have a glyph up. I actually thought they glyphed this tower at top, so my mistake there. So the glyph available to keep them from losing a lot of HP on this tower in mid. They're going to smoke out again, though. S4 has picked up his blink, so his survivability quite a bit higher now. And Gyro was stacking the Ancients once again. Here we go. Alliance going to try the old okey doke. Double back from S4, and the Waning Rift. Coil only got Puppy. And they're going to try to pursue out Dendi. Puppy, a free kill there. And actually just going to let it go.
Dendi should have been a free kill, to be honest.
Yep.
And here comes... Oh, I thought he was casting a boat. Yeah, Dendi should have been a free kill. He got 2 with the silence. There's no reason not to follow it with a coil right after if you have the numbers advantage.
Holding on to it. There's the Visage Familiars trying to deny it, unable to do so. Gyro actually gets the tower kill. Ancient stack up to a 3 stack at this moment, so they may want to fall back and do that shortly. 7-9, Na'Vi maintains the kill lead. We can check by net worth. Loda opening up quite a gap already. 2,500 gold ahead of the Mirana played by Havost. The gold graph itself, plus 4,000 going the way of Alliance. Right about even in terms of levels, though.
Yeah. And S4 is doing very, very well right now. 2-0-4 on him with a Blink Dagger. That's the position that Na'Vi needs their mag to be in, but still about 1,800 gold away from his Blink Dagger. Mirana, decently farmed too. Has a Yasha, needs that Manta style up ASAP. Not very good for Gyrocopter, but fantastic against Pop Ganks.
We can see Loda has started to take out this Ancient camp. Puppy's very close to his mechanism. That'll certainly add some more efficacy to their team fight potential, and they're going to need it. Loda is getting way far ahead. There's a Midnight Shadow. Let's see. Moonlight Shadow, I should say. Let's see if they can track down a target. EGM seems to be the one. He's already maxed out his Natural Order as well as Astral Spirit with a couple of points in the Stomp as well. So EGM is in great shape sitting at level 11. Lich is going to go ahead and deny this top tier 1 as well. So with tier 1 mid and tier 1 top down, that's a lot of territory Alliance is going to be able to move in and out of at will.
Are they going to be able to catch out Kuro, though? Looks like Admiral Bulldog is on his tail.
Here we go, EGM. Hustling, trying to catch up, won't be able to do so. Down at bottom, we see S4 tucked away snugly in the woods, anticipating some pressure coming out of Na'Vi and anticipating correctly. Let's see how much they're going to send back. Loda actually doesn't have a TP, so if he wants to come, he just got spotted, I do believe. The arrow went out, and it looks like they pinged him. S4 goes in, 2-man coil, and the Waning Rift on both. Havost is in trouble. Here comes Funnick, though. Funnick lands the RP, got a couple. The boat's going to be off the mark. Earth Splitter disjoints things. Funnick ends up traded away, while Mirana did manage to get away. Dendi not going to be stunned out of his teleport, but another failed attempt from Na'Vi. And these ultimates, I mean, Funnick's RP was okay, but with nothing to follow it up, Dendi way off the mark on the boat once again. They're just not putting it together the way they have to with this kind of lineup. And Ake's going to end up maybe dying here. Pops the Nature's Attendants. A little bit of RNG love as Puppy doesn't get the chain frost bounce he would have liked. They're going to pursue him out, though. Vosta's right there, has an arrow up. And Yasha going to allow him to most likely pursue this out. Let's see if he can anticipate the
arrow
angle.
to get the kill, though.
Yep, he's going to have to hit the angle. Can he do it? Can he do it? Trying to auto-attack it down. There's the lead. And auto-attack's all he needs.
And Loda, he just skipped over to Haste Rune. Looks like he's going to give it to S4, but yeah. Havos with that right-click damage. That was a far chase.
Puppy, once again, he trying to get his mechanism up and should have it very, very soon. Actually, what did he just buy? Yeah, there it is. Okay, he already had the recipe. He's just waiting on it to come out to him. I was thinking he should have been there by now. And S4 going to be able to jump on Havos after a leap. He's got a haste rune trying to pursue him out. Doesn't have a coil for 2 seconds yet. And Puppey, not going to be an appetizing target, so he will go ahead and pull back. Visage Familiars get the stun. Can they finish him off? Oh, there's the X. Phase shifts. And he actually missed on the Torrent. Dindy once again trying to get the X-Torrent combo. Gyrocopter's going to get a kill on Mag in the meantime as we see S4 does escape. So it looks like it was Gyro plus EGM down on bottom. And Funnick is never, ever going to get a Blink Dagger unless it's on the Courier, which I highly doubt. Yeah, it's not.
Dindy has only hit one X-Torrent combo, and I think only... I don't even know if he's hit a Ghost Ship this game. And I mean, he was at like 10 HP. If he hits his Torrent, he is definitely dead. So missed opportunity there. Navi still slightly ahead on kills. Looking at the gold grab. Wow, whopping 7,500 in favor of Alliance though. Gyrocopter's farm is just insane. The tower count is actually in slight favor of Alliance right now.
S4 just caught 4. Got him with the waning rift. He will face shift and the Gale's there on Havos and the coil afterwards. Got Dindy and Havos. Havos breaks it with a leap. There's the Poison Nova. Dindy caught with it. Bulldog does end up dead. They pop the Moonlight Shadow. They won't be able to track down Dindy either. And nice. Havos able to make it away. And they disjointed that about as well as they could. Problem is, it cost them 2 heroes for none. And S4 leading off with the Waning Rift, delayed on the coil, waiting on his team to get there. But they did get the tier 2 in the meantime. So even though they lost a couple of heroes, still not that bad of a trade as we see the gold graph even after that engagement. Still heading the way of Alliance. And right now, Na'Vi, Na'Vi still has a very difficult team to crack, a team that can put on a lot of aggression, especially with Moonlight Shadow and movement. But they've got to start chaining things together. That time, they're way too grouped up and almost paid the price for it.
Yeah, they just so desperately need Funnick to get hit, had to be able to blink RP, and still 1,400 gold away from that. And Na'Vi with the T1 top, T1 mid, or T1 bottom down, they can't really take out the T1 mid. It's at full HP, and they're just too weak to push into it, especially with Loda not having to join any of these fights. And they don't really have a strong Roshan team either. And normally that's what teams will do right now. They're like, they have like decent map control, not amazing map control, and they're like trying to spread Alliance out here and there. And Roshan would be amazing if they had any damage, but Dendi sitting at just +3 damage right now. He has a lot of strength, but no plus damage, and even with Empower, it's still very, very weak.
Loda has farmed himself to a Demon Edge on top of BKB, Helm of the Dominator, Midas, FaZe, and Aquila. I mean, he has 19 armor, is hitting for an excess of 200 damage at 22 minutes in on a Gyro. He is so far ahead, it's ridiculous. And we're reaching that point where Na'Vi's just not going to be able to do anything. And they're going to face a problem even once Funnick gets up the blink, because Flak Cannon, unless he's way out of the fight to begin with, will be able to put his Blink Dagger on cooldown.
Mm-hmm. And Puck, too. Puck is a very good counter, or just initiation on Magnus. Just disabling his blink, silencing him so he can't skewer away, and coiling him so even if he does skewer away, he gets stunned. And it's just a very difficult life for Mag. And would a Bat Rider have given them this many issues?
Coil on Havos. There's going to be a call down on top of it. Havos to for sure kill. Dindy comes in and wisely turns tail. Doesn't need to engage with his teams here. Puppey will spot out Bulldog, but the Gale was there to connect on him. We're going to see Kuro and Puppey try to make it out. There's a stomp, though. And here comes the Earth Splitter. Not going to connect, but didn't need it anyways. S4 follows it up. Kuro right beside Funnick. Funnick's there, has RP, but not going to want to spend it right here. They're going to get the Familiars? No. Sending him up over the high ground, and S4 trying to chase him down. There's the Jaunt. They're going to get one. The other will make it away safely. But this will be the death of a Tier 2, and now map control squarely in favor of Alliance. The gold hugely in their favor, coming up on a 5-digit lead as we approach 24 minutes in. They have just absolutely punished Na'Vi for all of those missed opportunities, all those disjointed ultimates.
Yeah, and Alliance has very good map control right now with the Blink Puck. They can pretty much kill anybody on the side of Na'Vi, considering none of them have BKBs yet. And now they can do Roshan. As long as they don't get caught by like a Torrent Boat RP skewer combo and a Chain Frost, then they should be okay. But it's still very, very difficult for Na'Vi. They just need better initiation as it goes right now. Like most of the time, they're just getting initiated on by Puck. And the few times that they have one, it's just simply because they outnumber Alliance, not because they coordinate their ultimates.
Loda just completed an MKB. Short of 25 minutes, Loda has a Helm of the Dominator, MKB, BKB, Phase Boots minus Aquila, 19 armor, hitting for 260 odd damage.
His net worth is over 2.5 times Dendy's net worth.
Yeah, and this is just what you can't have. Kunkka's great at fighting, but you know, we haven't even seen a decent RP really. I mean, the best RP he's hit was a 2-man. And this is just, this is why when you see a mag picked, you almost always see him go mid. He just can't really afford to fall behind. Otherwise, this can happen. And I'll tell you what, man, Alliance is just so damn good at taking 4 heroes. And even though they trail in kills even now, they're willing to trade kills if they can free up space for one priority farmer, be it Loda looking for carry items, be it a hero like an S4. And, not the case this game, say he really needed a blink. They're just so good at taking good exchanges in 4-on-5s. That it's so hard to beat them once you get to this point if you haven't managed to completely shut down that approach.
Yeah, look at Loda now with his Aegis too. Oh my goodness. He just hits like an absolute monster right now.
Oh man. Yeah, just utterly crushing people. And there's actually a mechanism done on the Enchantress as well, so Ake, who...
BKB on EGM.
Yep. I mean, what are you going to do now? I mean, EGM's going to be able to stay alive in these fights forever. He's got 1,700 HP with his treads.
They're ahead in kills, but they're definitely not ahead.
No. EGM, I mean, that's a great point. He's got treads, he's got drums, he's got his BKB, so not only does he have a magic community to rely on, but not only does he have his whole skill set, which gives him a fair amount of escapability and survivability, he's got magic community. Everything else, he's going to be so hard to bring down with his 1,700 HP off of all that. Loda, we can see how brave he is, not even caring to farm mid while he waits on the rest of his team to catch up. And Na'Vi basically relegated to this section of the map. Essentially, only 1/3 of the map they can viably go out on, and that might shrink if they don't stop this tower push. Up, S4 engages on a Havos, will immediately jump backwards after the blink. Trying to zone him out. There's the Astral Spirit doing good damage. Flat Cannon just absolutely crushing people off of that tower. X-Torrent, he hits it, but no follow-up. And Stomp going to miss, thrown ahead by EGM. Loda and company looking like they're ready to go ahead and siege this out. Havost is over to the flank, looking to land a Sacred Arrow, looking to make something happen. His ultimate is up. He has everything off cooldown. Let's see how dedicated to the push Loda's going to be.
Man, Magnus finally has Blink Dagger, so this is a time where they can maybe coordinate a chain of ultimates. But look at Alliance's positioning right now. S4 is actually invis, staying away from his teammates. Loda is kind of off by himself, so if he gets RP, which he's the main RP target that they need to get, as well as Puck, then his teammates won't get caught out either. So Alliance just knowing how they have to spread out, but this is just one of the most dangerous things in the game, pushing up a T3 against a Blink Magnus.
Yep. And no matter how far ahead you are, you will lose a fight against a well-wrought RP, especially when you have so much AoE on the other side. And S4 and Loda kind of grouped up. They may have been trying to bait that there. You see,
they need a smoke on Funnick so he doesn't get scouted out by Venom Wards and or Astral Spirit.
You can see how far away
this
he's
fight is so important for them.
Yep.
They have to blow smoke, or they should.
Loda with his Aegis. I mean, he's going to make appetizing bait, but he may be the wrong hero to prioritize with the RP. Gyro, definitely one of those heroes that if you can bring down his supporting cast, it doesn't matter how strong he is, he's just going to die. I mean, even as far ahead as he is, he only has 1,300 HP. He's helped out by the armor, but the magic damage on the side of Na'Vi is not inconsiderable between Shockwave, Soul Assumption, and Lich with Frost Blast as well as his ultimate. So looks like Alliance not going to take the chance, though, just going to fall back.
Yeah, they can just get a Butterfly up on Loda, and then he can just start crushing, or even just a Satanic. He doesn't necessarily need more damage, because most likely he's not going to be able to burst people down through Kunkka's Drum anyways. So I think just like being able to survive the initial combo, if you can't BKB in time, is just getting Satanic. That would be the easiest solution.
I agree with you, and it puts the most effective use of his farm. It is the most effective use of his farm, because, as I said, right now, 1,300 HP, not all that much. I mean, it's not bad for a Gyro at short of 30 minutes, but getting up the Satanic, getting the bonus HP from that, certainly going to be beneficial on top of the actual life rating. And we can see he's picking up a ton. There's a Scepter done on Bulldog, by the way. Saw he had he had about half of it done a few minutes ago, so his ability to stay alive certainly making the difference. Loda has just been an absolute beast this game and continues to be one. He's just 2-1, but That's largely because he has been left to farm. Havos sitting at 5-1 has really done a lot of work for Na'Vi, but again, you hate to lay it on a group of players or a group of heroes. They just haven't gotten their mileage out of Funnick because of the late Blink Dagger, and Dindy showing that Kunkka is not his most comfortable hero to play in a professional context.
Yes, and let's look at just a little bit of passive game. 2 minutes until the Aegis expires. Will Alliance make a move until then? I still don't think they can push into their base. The Glyph is still up. There's a Satanic on Gyrocopter. He is a monster.
Oh, yeah. The Aegis still up, as you said. This is why I like the Satanic pickup, because he already had the Helm of the Dominator done, so he's going to be able to use all of that gold immediately and try to get the this down. He's going to be able to just basically run in. There's going to be Funnick. Missed on the skewer. There's the X thrown out. Torrent. It's going to be BKB through, rather, so not going to connect. And Tier 3 glyphed out. Loda was forced to pop his BKB. And just look at the damage coming on to Puppey. There's the Chain Frost. That's going to get 2 bounces and not a single one more. And they still yet to really shut them down. EGM was stunned out. Finally, Havos gets a kill from the side. And there's the RP. Got Admiral Bulldog and Loda, but the ship will connect. Let's see if they can make something of it. Loda certainly in good enough position. The Visage Familiars were actually there to get the stun as well. Loda still up and fighting. Didn't even have to use his Satanic, though. They managed to track down 1 kill. Havos throws out another arrow to kill off Venno. S4's right on his tail. Not going to jaunt to it. The Familiars head back out. This will be a set of racks. So Na'Vi, they only got a 2-man RP. Certainly got 2 good ones in the Venomancer and in the Gyrocopter, but not enough to save the racks. And honestly, this game looks to be pretty much over. Coming up on 20,000 gold advantage now for Alliance.
Yeah, I don't really know what Na'Vi can do right now. They just haven't been able to hit their combos. They have the Wombo combo, and people would just get decimated if they didn't have BKBs, if Loda didn't have the Aegis, if he didn't have the Satanic, and a bajillion other items. And like Na'Vi just with his death push, and they don't have RP up for 50 more seconds. I don't think they can hold it.
Okay, gonna be caught with an arrow. There's another missed skewer by Funnick. BKB's up on both sides, and EGM going to work. There's a call down. And the Earth Splitter actually caught Puppey. He's going to drop for free. BKB's on Loda and EGM. Allow them to storm the hill. And just going to go to work now. Satanic still hasn't been used by Loda. And
oh, a nice X Torrent.
Yep. Finally beginning to put it together. There's a Gale that caught Funnick. Loda can use his Satanic and will. And nice coil. Got 3. Funnick wasn't caught, but he's done already. There's an X Torrent onto Loda. Can they follow it up? They can. So finally, we see Na'Vi find their rhythm with the X-Torrent burst. They managed to keep their top racks and Tier 3 alive, and they're going to even get a kill on Bulldog, so don't call it over yet. Yeah, nice turnaround.
The X really coming through right there. Denny with 2 X's, 1 into an arrow on EGM, and another on Aki to pick them as they're retreating. And I believe the Aegis expired just like 30 seconds before too. So that was very unfortunate timing for Alliance there. I thought that they had a window. I think they thought that they had a window because of no RP, but still the damage from Mirana is not insignificant at this point.
Now, Havos has kind of quietly done his job. He's got Phase, Manta, BKB, and an Aquila sitting at 15 armor, so he feels fairly survivable. And Alliance, like we said, I mean, they're way ahead. They've got a set of racks down there in mid. It's going to be very difficult for Na'Vi to reliably come into their jungle. Funnick can do it right now because they know Alliance kind of has to reset a little bit. But this could turn into a bit longer of a game than I think Alliance would have counted on, and Na'Vi not about to give up.
Yeah, Alliance just very inconsistent. I think they're playing very, very well this game, at least for the first 30 minutes, minus that 1 push. And yeah, they've just played so many games today, and this is a lineup that they're very comfortable with, minus the Admiral Bulldog and Venomancer. But he seems to be doing okay. He already has a Scepter up, which is not the best choice versus BKBs, but it's only the Mirana, and actually Dendi has it up now too. No Shadow Blade on him.
BKB is quite a big deal on both sides. Take a look and see how many of those bad boys are out. 2 on the side of Alliance and 2 on the side of Na'Vi, at least for now. Kuro has his Scepter up and Scepter up on Venno. So really Loda accounting for a huge amount of this lead. I mean, you take a look at the gold graph, you can see they're about 15,000 gold ahead.
He's pretty much like all of it.
Yeah.
He's like almost 10,000 gold ahead of Mirana. 10,000.
Ake types 35-30. And here we go. They're going to move out and move up. EGM gonna be spotted out. There's the X. Can they follow it up? BKB takes him out of the X-Torn combination. Na'Vi able to zone them out. Roche will be up very, very soon.
I'm surprised that Venomizer actually did go for Deceptor, because they just have so much like burst in the fight. They don't really have to draw the fight out, and like his poison does like a ton of damage, but it's over a certain amount of time. Like I think a Veil or something like that. I guess there's not that much magic damage on their team, but just more and quicker damage. That's what Gyrocopter's all about, just bursting people down during the flag and doing the BKBs, because the longer and longer the fight draws out, I think it actually favors Na'Vi just being able to constantly go on someone with X-Torrent, but they're all up in their base right now.
Yep, pushing straight down mid and forcing the big reaction. And that's going to allow Alliance to pull back. And this is such a smart tactic. We saw Aki accidentally type in the chat roughly the earliest time that Roshan couldn't respond. So 35-30. He's actually going to be pretty close to on the mark here. So they're going to move down, continue to check for it. But just being able to force Na'Vi back like that, we can already see the ward placed by them right near the secret shop, so they're going to know when they move through. And they're going to be in a pretty good position. Na'Vi has a ward of their own, though, sitting just outside the Radiant jump.
Yeah, and even though Kunkka is underfarmed, he does have the Empower for the extra damage. Like looking at him right now, he does like 240, which is not bad considering how underfarmed he is. He's number 4 net worth. Here's a Moonlight Shadow. Do they have a gem on their team? Looks like they only have sentries.
We saw them pinging out
Loda
on top. And oh, they catch S4 with the arrow, jump right on top of him. S4
nice.
blown up.
That's such an important kill right before Roshan.
So huge. Does he have buyback? He does. He may need to spend it. And they know what's going on now. And what caused them to want to do that? We saw Loda was spotted out atop. He farmed out the wave.
This is really bad. They cannot fight here, like not at all. Even without S4 there, it's just a really bad place for them to fight, because they can always just scout it out with Veno wards, with the Spirit from Elder Titan, and they're already all on top of that. I think Alliance just has very good map control right now, because they can't, Na'Vi can't clump up right now, and if they do, they're just gonna get blown up. But Alliance can't either, so I don't think either team wants to be put in that very compromising position. But Na'Vi has to back first because of the mid rack side is down, and their T4s are getting wailed on right now, and they can just try and sneak in a Roche. Loda almost has his butterfly completed too.
Yep. Top lane getting shoved quite a bit as well. It actually looks like it is shoving out now, so that will move, but it was quite a bit.
They're going right now.
Yep.
They have to go.
Here we go. Na'Vi has to make something happen. Havos will be able to shoot a blind arrow and have a good chance of hitting a target using the Astral Spirit to scout out. They're going to spot him out. Phonics
he leapt in.
And here we go. Trying to make it happen. BKB popped out. EGM uses the stomp. Caught a couple pucks there. There's the Earth Splitter as well. RP will be spinning. Got 3. Can they follow it? Boat's there and will connect. Big boat. First time all game. Na'Vi has been able to put together all of the pieces, and they get a big 4-for-1 trade as well as a Roshan off of it. Finally, they got it to go.
And that's the thing about Gyrocopter. Yeah, he's 23,000 net worth, but if he gets caught before he BKBs, he is just absolutely screwed.
And we can see S4 trying to be cute. Will blink out immediately. Phonics going to stay right on his tail. Catches him with the skewer. Torrent is there. Can he jaunt? Phase shifts and jaunts away. S4 using the Waning Rift to get some farm on the way out. He's going to bottle back up. Phase shifts once again, avoiding damage. Roche does drop. In the meantime, though, Dindy caught out, and he's going to try to jump on top of it.
Playing with fire.
Blinks away again. Uses his wand charges. Here come the familiars. Looks like he's finally done.
Wow. That was, I mean, he almost got a kill on Dendy right there. But in the meanwhile, Mirana picks up the Aegis, and I mean, just it takes one big RP. That's all you need, and that's the thing about Magnus. Like, they haven't hit any RPs before that were big, but all it takes is one. Chain Frost plus the Kunkka burst is just way too much for Alliance to handle. And look at the gold graph, it's still like fairly in favor of Alliance, but the momentum of the game has definitely shifted. And Alliance like, well, crap, if we group up, we might just lose. We can just lose the game from one more bad fight. And Loda doesn't actually have buyback, and that was his butterfly money. He lost a lot of gold right there. He can sell his Midas and pick up his butterfly right now, but still, they're just like Na'Vi with their ultimates, and if Magnus ever gets a refresher, I don't know how they're going to fight him.
Yeah, the Mag's actually going BKB. He's got his Ogre Club up. He has enough gold for his Mithril Hammer. Going to be very, very careful about how he spins it, though, because he's going to want to have buyback, and that's going to be a big factor for Na'Vi. They really can't afford to be caught without buybacks. Dindy is beginning to build damage finally. He's hitting pretty hard for about 260 or so, 262 damage. Chrysalis added to the inventory as well, so he's going to become a liability. And it looked, I could have sworn, are we seeing a... Yep, never mind. Medallion Scepter. I thought I saw... Yeah, he actually has picked up an Ultimate Orb. Could have swore I saw someone building AC on the side of Na'Vi.
Yeah, and S4 did a really good job that fight, too. I believe he coiled Funnick and a 3-man silence into a sheep on Funnick, but he still got the RP off. So that's just very unfortunate for Alliance, that fight. S4 definitely had the right idea, but he's pretty much the only hero that can stop Funnick. Like, even if they scout him out with the Astral Spirit, it's not like Enchantress can do anything. It's not like Venomancer couldn't do anything. Venomancer maybe can, like, drop his Plague Wards to stop him from blinking. But once he gets his BKB, it's going to be a lot of trouble for the man. And we see a T1 tower being taken down, but Alliance is already up there. They are smoked behind Loda. They have to defend.
Yep, TP's come out, sending them back as quick as they can. Loda hitting very, very hard right now. He will be X. The Torrent will be there, and he will BKB through it. The homing missile connects on Puppey. They're going to get this tier 3 for sure. Nope, never mind. Glyph off cooldown.
They should fight right now, though. They don't have BKB up on Loda. If he gets RP, the fight should be over if they connect.
There's the X on the EGM. They're going to try to force this fight. EGM's going to BKB through it. In the meantime, Bulldog caught out, stunned out. They're going to try to react. There's Savos caught out with the Scythe of Ice. BKB's up on all sides. We're going to see Funnick coming in and spins the RP on nothing. What happened there? EGM still up and running. And Loda going to be X back, but now this win could be in Alliance's hands. The boat's going to be off the mark. We see Loda chasing down Puppey. Dindy's trying to do what damage he can, but Ake laying into him. Havost back up and alive. This fight continues to extend itself. The Satanic was used. Back off cooldown in 18 seconds. Dindy running for the high ground. Here a homing missile out. That's going to be on Havost. And Puck trying to pursue him out. There's a Force Staff, and he forces the Manta out. And the Scythe of Ice. Here comes the homing missile. Kaboom! Calldowns there. Big kill. They get not just the Aegis, but the hero himself. And poor Funnick. Not going to say he doomed him, but he hurt him.
That was all S4 on that fight. If you look at Funnick, he was trying to hide on this tree line. S4 blinks right on top of him and then sheeps him as well as silences him, and he is pretty much forced to blow RP or he's going to die. Well, he did RP and he didn't die, but that's what he felt like in that certain situation, and we just saw how bad of a fight it goes for Na'Vi when they actually do not hit an RP. So he just needs to get like 1 or 2 heroes. Alliance did a very good job of backing together as a team and drawing Na'Vi out into full vision. Notice when they picked the fight, they had this ward over here, and Na'Vi just overextended. They were getting greedy with the X's, and greedy just pushing up the tilt here. As soon as they come to the tilt, that just drew Alliance right where they wanted them.
X-Torn connects. S4's in some trouble. Will be bursted down. Pretty big kill there. They get the tier 3. Mirana's still down for 25 seconds, so Havost without...
They can try and chase right now, though, with the X.
Yep.
And they do have BKBs on everybody, though, so it's still going to be pretty difficult.
RP is up. Not having Mirana certainly hurts their combat potential. And looks like they will go ahead and be able to pull back. Not a problem. So they've
already lost 1 T4. So if Alliance wins one more fight and Funnick either whiffs his RP or doesn't have buyback, they can potentially just end the game. So Na'Vi it's kind of all on Funnick right now.
Yep. And Funnick whiffing completely with that last RP. As you said, though, very nice plays out of S4. Loda continues to get huge. He's got 4,200 gold right now. We'll see what, if anything, he wants to snatch up. He's pretty tanky, 2,000 health, but there's a Moonlight Shadow. Avos leading the charge out, and Na'Vi not wanting to wait for the fight to come to them. They're going to take the fight to Alliance. Moving down, there's a blind arrow. Will spot nothing and no one. Loda grouping up with his team towards mid. Ake the furthest out at the moment. And looks like Na'Vi will go ahead and back out. This is why it's such a big deal losing that early Rax. They can only get aggressive for a few minutes and immediately pull back to defend.
The next Roshan is just so important for both teams. It's more important for Na'Vi to deny it from Alliance rather than get it for themselves, just because they can't really kill Loda right now. Loda just 2,100 HP with Evasion, MKB, Satanic, BKB. There's no way they can kill him unless they hit a big RP. And if he gets the Aegis, or even if he just buys back, they can just win the game right there once RP is on cooldown, just because they have a pretty large window, 100 seconds, where Loda is pretty much invincible as long as his team survives around him and they don't get caught in like a 4-man RP. But Magnus, he does have his BKB right now, but no buyback, and looks like they are trying to make a push up here right now. This is a very risky from Alliance right now.
No buyback on the Mirana still.
Oh, they
yet.
have a ward up here too. This is a really good ward. Whoever put that up there, just really good foresight. Oh, they're actually not going to see it.
EGM should see it now.
How is that out? Oh yeah,
yeah,
they have to take that down.
And the no buyback on Kunkka or on the Mirana, so Vost and Dindy going to have to be very careful with their lives if there's another engagement. They drop at this point in the game, it will most likely be GG. 2 racks going to be too heavy a deficit to recover from with this lineup. And they're just continuing to push it slow.
It's all on Funnick. It's all on S4.
There's an RP on the Loda. They got to make it count. Arrows there. Can they blow him up? He's X'd. He's shoved out of it. BKB, and here comes the Satanic as he's going to go to work. Chain Frost is there, but Loda back to full health. That's most likely going to be it. That will be it. Havosin running for the well. S4 right on top of him. And Funnick had his marching orders. He had one target to prioritize. He got the target, but the damage wasn't there. 23-25, the final kill score. Alliance takes game 1 and moves themselves to 1 game away from direct advancing to the grand finals in Las Vegas here in the HyperX D2L. That was a game, Merlini, that Alliance looked like they were just going to run away with around 30 minutes. Na'Vi not only drug it out, not only made a competition of it, there were a couple points in the game where they could have won.
Yeah, that was just very close. And I think that force half from Aki pretty much just saved the game right there. Not that Alliance couldn't have won at that point, but it just really sealed the deal. And force half, very underrated item, especially against an RP, because if he BKBs, he's not going to take any damage. If he gets force half away, they don't have RP anymore and they lose the fight.
Again, 23-25. The final kill score, 45 minutes, 33 seconds, the official game time. Game 1 in the books, and Loda, well, he knows how to farm a little bit. Finishes with 710 GPM, 557 XP per minute, 6-3 and 7 performance on him. But really a solid all-around performance. S4 doing quite a good job on the puck. And as you said, that hero force staff making quite a big difference from Ake. Ake is one of those guys who does the little things right, and he certainly did it right in that case. I'm your host there in AC Chambers. Thanks for being a part of the broadcast, guys. Again, the big one underway, Alliance and Na'Vi, with so much on the line. Alliance taking the win right there, by the way, does guarantee, now that I think about it, I completely forgot, even if Na'Vi does manage to turn it around and win 2 in a row, Alliance with that win is guaranteed to go to the grand finals. Every other team at this point haven't taken a loss, and basically the way that works in, again, the points are the primary tiebreaker, not the head-on-head matchup. So now, since Na'Vi did take a loss and did take that loss 0-2, even if they were to win today and win all the way out, they would still trail by 1 point by the time all was said and done. So Alliance has punched their ticket to the grand finals, but you better bet Na'Vi still wants revenge and still wants to give us a Game 3. The voice on the other end of the line, by the way, his name is Ben Merlini Wu. Make sure you check us out on Twitter at AC and at Merlini Dota. We'll be right back as we get Game 2 started here on the HyperX D2L. Stick with us.